Here we go. Back again. Back again. Alright. And today it is the return of the done previously fought syndrome. And this is the 21st episode. So we have had quite a few now. And of course, the syndrome is basically a way of trying to expose the continuation of deception that is placed upon us, all to fit the agenda straight up. And today, would you believe it, the magical, mystical COVID has once again popped its head into the syndrome, and also the wonder job, because it also has had the syndrome from the start, right? The same as the COVID, and we're all still waiting on our job, right? Sure. And of course, these guys, every video now, we are back at these guys. But to begin with today, we will kick things off with this ever changing, mystical, magical COVID-19. Evening Standard, 5 days ago, COVID-19 cases were widespread in UK much earlier than previously thought. Right, so this one has basically been in since the start. The coronavirus outbreak across the UK may have begun much earlier than previously thought, with European ski resorts believed to be an epicentre of infection, according to experts. So the UK may have had it earlier than they thought, and ski resorts are to blame, and it's the experts that are telling us, so it must be fucking true, sure. And I would imagine, unfortunately, if you enjoy skiing across Europe, you can probably kiss that goodbye, right? I would imagine that will spell the end for ski resorts. And this one here, news medical, even 4 days ago, viruses like SARS-CoV-2 may be more widespread than previously thought. Right, so not SARS-CoV-2, but like SARS-CoV-2. Right. And to expand on this one, the discovery of these viruses in a bat species not found in China indicates that SARS-CoV-2 related viruses have a much wider geographic distribution than previously understood. And suggests that Southeast Asia represents a key area to consider in the ongoing search for the origins of SARS-CoV-2 and in future surveillance for coronaviruses. Right, because we need to be on our guard for these new variants that are now popping up fucking everywhere. Right, it's like whack-a-mole, and there is now more variants than deaths from COVID, most likely. And of course, we are currently waiting on the experts that the WHO sent to China. They sent the A-team to China to discover and trace the origins of COVID, but I think they will still be in quarantine at the moment, right? So we will wait and see. Forbes, 21 hours ago. Researchers estimate there were 17 million undiagnosed cases of COVID. Right. A new study from the National Institutes of Health found that almost 5% of Americans surveyed had undiagnosed COVID-19 last summer. Right, which amounts to almost 17 million cases that were not counted. Oh dear. This finding, which is currently undergoing peer review ahead of a journal publication, so then it's like real good stuff, right? Suggests the pandemic was much more widespread in the US than previously thought. Dun, dun, dun. Sure, why not? 2 hours ago, CBS New York, getting reinfected with COVID may be more common than previously thought. Oh dear, right? So this one is comical, really. What does it say? Well, basically all it said was people who have been previously infected with the coronavirus may not be as protected as they think, but there's a chance a single vaccine dose will do the trick, says CBS 2's Dr. Max Gomez. Right, so the wonder job is here to save the fucking day. And that brings us nicely onto this mystical, magical wonder job, right, that they have made in quick speed time. Sure, 3 days ago, The Hill, Pfizer and Moderna vaccines may be even more effective than previously thought. Wow, cue the celebration, right? Emerging data from Israel indicates that the vaccines manufactured by Pfizer and BioNTech, as well as Moderna, may be even more effective than previous results from clinical trials suggested. Right, so it suggested they were good, but they have realised that it's even better with all three. It is indeed a miracle. Hip hip fucking hooray. The study conducted in December 2020 observed over 700,000 vaccinated individuals with 1 week of time in between their second dosage. Right, just 317 people contracted COVID-19 following their inoculation. And 16 of those people were hospitalized. Right, so not very effective and also fucking dangerous, straight up. But of course, there were no deaths. Anyone who died in any of the trials, it was a coincidence. And sticking with the wonder job, Fox 8, 20 hours ago, COVID-19 herd immunity will require more vaccine compliance than previously thought. Right, so to expand on this, we have an expert. Right, so what does he say? Well, so for months, we've been seeing around 70% herd immunity, but it was by natural infection and or vaccination. But with these viruses that transmit more effectively, it may need to be near an 85%. And even though I do not get a sense from some of the surveys that people are more amenable to being vaccinated, I'm not sure, and it's 85% of people, said Lopez. So Lopez there, making about as much sense as any fucking expert. And what next? Will it go from 85% to 100%? That's what they need. Vaccinated. Look out for it. And he did also say that Moderna are looking to make a booster shot, so a third shot, so they can combat these mutant strains, these super duper mutant strains that have been emerging out of the blue, right? Of course, the jabs, these booster shots, will never fucking end. And we will leave the wonder jab for the time being. But yeah, mark my words, it will be back. And back again. That is for sure. But now, NASA and our champions, Science Daily, are back again. And Science Daily, they are married to the phrase than previously thought. But to touch on this one, 4 hours ago, astronomers detect extended dark matter halo around ancient dwarf galaxy. Right, so what's this from our heroes at NASA? Well, it says basically that findings suggest the first galaxies in the universe were more massive than previously thought. Right, so once again, NASA and the ever changing galaxy theory, because that's basically what it is. And this one here, NASA again, Antarctica's ice melt isn't consistent, new analysis shows. And once again, it is our champions, Science Daily, February 1st, 2021. Antarctic ice is melting, contributing massive amounts of water to the world's seas and causing them to rise. But that melt is not as linear and consistent as scientists previously thought. A new analysis of 20 years' worth of satellite data indicates, right, sure, the analysis built on gravitational field data from a NASA satellite system shows that Antarctica's ice melts at different rates each year. Wow, would you Adam and Eve that one? Meaning the models scientists use to predict coming sea level rise might also need adjusting. So the super duper computer modelling needs tinkering once again. The researchers' analysis is built on data from NASA's GRACE, right, Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment, a 2-satellite mission that measures changes in the world's oceans, groundwater and ice sheets. So NASA would probably call this experiment the Saving Grace, but it will indeed be the complete fucking opposite. And it did make me think of a subscriber that I have who has NASA well and truly clocked. and her name is Grace, and she goes by Grace by Faith, and she is a fantastic subscriber and very, very switched on. So if you are watching, hello to my good friend Grace, right? I'm sure that one would have given you quite a laugh, right? Good old NASA. And sticking with the climate, I seen this. Eureka alert 4 days ago. Aerosol particles cool the climate less than we thought. Huh. And this one, a study that has been done on chemtrails, not from the aeroplanes, but from ships and boats, right? So to expand on this, this study also has implications in the context of climate engineering, right? Climate engineering denotes targeted, so far mostly hypothetical, interventions into the climate system with the goal of alleviating the consequences of climate change. Right. One example of climate engineering method is the deliberate brightening of clouds through targeted emissions of sea salt aerosols, known as marine cloud brightening. Right. Our results show that even in terms of cloud physics, marine cloud brightening may not be as straightforward as it may seem. Oh dear, a naive implementation could even result in cloud darkening. Huh. And the opposite of what was intended. Now, ain't that a massive, massive fucking surprise? And you would think that this would put thoughts or ideas like filling the fucking atmosphere with emissions. You would think it would put that to bed, but it won't. This will not go away, right? Look out for it. It will be back no matter what. And of course, they are trying to brighten the clouds, but it is doing the complete opposite because, of course, everything is inverted, right? And we will leave NASA for the time being, at least, because I can bet you any money that you like, or even the house that you are in right now, if you're in lockdown and in your jail cell, I can bet you your jail cell that NASA will be back in the syndrome, straight up. And speaking of the climate, Eureka alert 4 days ago. Methane emissions from coal mines are higher than previously thought. Right, so the coal mines and the methane will lead to the global warming hoax needing sorted. Right, Eureka alert again 3 hours ago. These guys currently giving Science Daily a run for their money, right? Sea level will rise faster than previously thought, right? And this, of course, will ring the alarm, and Bill Gates will now speed up the plan to block out the sun. We are not worthy. 5 days ago, Lyme disease, much more widespread than previously. I wonder. And this one is coming from the US CDC. Now, this is where we will take a bit of a twist and go down the that's life, but not as we know it, lane, right? And the CDC, of course, their origins would indeed be in Georgia, of all places, right? Of course, that is where it all began for the CDC back in 1945. And of course, as we do know, Georgia is also the home to these bad boys here, the Georgia Guidestones, the ever mysterious and magical Guidestones. And if you haven't seen my video on them, then yeah, I will link it in and you can check it out. But sticking with the CDC, how did they come about, right? The Communicable Disease Centre was founded July 1st, 1946, as the successor to the World War II Malaria Control in War Areas Programme of the Office of National Defence Malaria Control Activities. Right. Preceding its founding, organisations with global influence in malaria control were the Malaria Commission of the League of Nations and the Rockefeller Foundation. The Rockefeller Foundation greatly supported malaria control. Yeah, I bet they fucking did. And I would say that the CDC was basically founded by the Rockefellers in Georgia. Probably at fucking the Rockefeller cottage, right? Which we will touch on in a sec. But this, in terms of the CDC, this here is in the CDC museum, right? And it is a statue of a Shapona, the West African god of smallpox. Right, so what is this, right? Let's have a look. It's a unique carved wooden figure upon which are layered meaningful objects, such as monkey skulls, cowrie shells, and fur. Yoruba legend held that the supreme god delegated authority over various kingdoms of the world to his two sons. To his second-born son, Shanogo, he gave control of the sky, but to his eldest, Shapona, he gave control of the earth, who nourished man by giving him all the grains of the earth. But when he punished, he caused those grains men had eaten to come out of their skins. Thus, smallpox was an indication of divine displeasure. And when I came across this one, I did find it rather creepy, to be honest, and I thought it was worth pointing out. But what I really want to touch on in terms of Georgia is this Jekyll Island, right? We touched on it briefly in the past, and basically the Rockefellers bought this island way back in the early 18th century. William Avery Rockefeller Jr., I think, was one of the first. But what we want to look at is this, the clubhouse, right? What went on at this clubhouse back in the 18th and 19th century? Well, on Jekyll Island, there was a secret meeting, and this meeting has been covered many, many times now by lots of people. And this is basically where the Federal Reserve was born, right? Hip hip hooray, I'm sure. But yeah, of course, this would be the home of the Fed and where it all began. And basically, where it all began to go downhill for me and you, right? And this guy, Edward Griffin, has done a fantastic book called The Creature from Jekyll Island, and lots of people have covered it. So yeah, check it out and let me know what you think about it, or any other books in regards to the Fed and Jekyll Island. But what I really want to touch on is these guys, right? These ancient Indians that were also, would you believe it, from Jekyll Island. And the tribe was called Temucan, or yeah, we will go with Temucan, right? And I seen a video just last night in regards to this tribe and Jekyll Island, and it's from Robert Sepper. And yeah, he seems quite a good journalist, if you like. So yeah, check him out. But he interviewed a guy who went to Jekyll Island and got a tour round about the island. And he got shown, well, originally the guy was there to find out about the origins of the Fed. But when the tour guide took him to the wee museum on the island, he showed him some photos and also paintings and photos of skeletons and bones. But these guys, these bones were bigger, so they were giants, basically, right? And even giants in paintings, right? Well, a lot fucking taller than me and you, put it that way. But more to the point, he's seen in a painting that there was an altar and they were sacrificing babies, right? These ancient Indians, and spilling the blood on this altar, right? And this was in the painting. And the guy was like, yeah, well, I want to see it. I want to know where this altar is. Can I see it? And the tour guide said, yes, I can take you to it, but you can't see it because there is a house on top of it. Right. To which the guy then said, who on earth would be crazy enough to build their house on top of such a site? Now, I wonder if you can guess who it is. Well, of course, it would only fucking be one fucking person or persons. And that is, of course, the Rockefellers, right? What a surprise. And if you didn't know already, I bet any money that you could guess, right? Easy, sure. And of course, the Federal Reserve was started right on top of this altar where they sacrificed these kids, seemingly. And it's pretty gruesome stuff. But this is what these people are all about. They are as grim and as evil as they come. And in terms of the giants stuff, there was in the past reports of giant skeletons found that was given to the Smithsonian, but it seemingly went missing, although I think the Smithsonian claim that it's untrue, right? But seemingly they destroyed lots of giant skeletons even. And I do know that the Rockefellers are heavily connected to the Smithsonian as well. Now, ain't that a shock, right? They're always there, lurking in the background like this evil shadow that is basically trying to control fucking everything. And since they took over the oil game, if you like, they have basically took over everything. And when they found out that they could make medicine, magical medicine from oil and crude oil, they were big time on the money and then created Big Pharma. You can bet any money they are behind Big fucking Pharma, straight up, and including things like plastic, as well as just about everything that probably spells bad news for humanity. You can indeed thank the Rockefeller family, and I would like to make a video of its own for these guys, the Rockefellers, and of course Jekyll Island, right? We ain't done with it yet, but that's about it for today. Just finally, I wanted to mention this fantastic book that Miriam has put together. It is really a great book and documents a lot of good stuff that a lot of people need to know. And I am even quoted in this book, and it's quite a surreal moment for me, if I'm honest. And I'm quoted saying, "Let's make 2021 the year when we fight back, and not only fight back, but win." Straight fucking up. And yeah, I can't thank this person enough. I am genuinely flattered to be listed with such great names and documented alongside them is genuinely flattering to me. Like I have said, I'm not a journalist. I'm just a curious guy from Elgin. And yeah, I have genuine concerns about the future, that is for sure. And I will link in this book so you can check it out. I recommend that you read it and download it, right? But there is another person who has a publishing company called I need to get this right. Wait Publishing. It fails me now. But yeah, he is also putting together a wee book that contains the syndrome and basically puts the syndrome in writing. And he sent me a draft and I read it and it's fantastic. I genuinely think that anybody who follows the syndrome will indeed like it. And yeah, the guy is obviously good at writing books, so fair play, good on you, and I look forward to seeing the final copy, right? So I will let you know when that happens, and you can indeed check it out. It is worth it, that is for sure. But yeah, that is it for this week's None Previously Thought Syndrome. And as always, the deception, it has continued. And thank you to everyone who watches and engages, much appreciated. And I will be back on Friday with, yeah, you guessed it, the Friday fucking fix. Right, and yeah, it has been another crazy fucking week. That is for sure. But I will leave you today with a clip that I have taken from Milton William Cooper, right, in 1995. And that is about it. Bye-bye.
Consequences of an enraged public upon discovering that they were being systematically murdered. Of course, a very short but very deadly global war using nuclear weapons upon select population concentrations was contemplated. And to tell you the truth, it has not been ruled out to this day. And I'm telling you right now, if they can't get their way by any other means, they will create a third world war. The fact that such a population control, ladies and gentlemen, was even contemplated, or can even still be contemplated today, confirmed the worst fears of those who had participated in the first study in 1957. The war's been put on the back burner to simmer, but it could still become a reality. And they would probably blame it upon a bunch of terrorists who set off some atomic weapon in a suitcase in some place like New York City. But in the meantime, something else had to be done that would absolve the decision makers of guilt and place the blame on those who did not lead clean lives. Something, ladies and gentlemen, that could be blamed upon Mother Nature. What was it that flashes on the screen at the end of this latest movie about Gaia, however you want to pronounce it? We're chopping down the rainforests, and these strange diseases nobody ever heard of are now coming out of the forest to get even with us for violating Mother Earth. Something like that. They're preparing you. You see, what was needed and what they believe is still needed. Ask Prince Charles if you don't believe me. Is something like the bubonic plague or some other horrible but natural disease. Now, when I was in the Office of Naval Intelligence, I saw documents that stated that Dr. Aurelio Pacheco of the Club of Rome had made several recommendations that were classified top secret. He advocated that a plague be introduced that would have the same effect as the famous Black Death of history. His recommendation was to develop a microbe which would attack the autoimmune system and thus render the development of a vaccine impossible. And this was just one recommendation. This was done under Project Ente Naomi at Fort Detrick, Maryland, as a part of the United States Army biological warfare projects. It was funded by the Congress. In fact, I believe they funded $10 million for this project. It's all in my book, including the documentation.